Welcome everybody to Intensity Broadcasting. My name is Josh Holl. This is the Holl Heating and Sheet Metal Rebels Sunday Night Truck Series. Okay, my name is Josh Holl. We're live here on iRacing from the virtual Kansas Speedway. Currently at the top of the speed charts, we see the 78 of Cody Boehm, one of our playoff drivers here tonight. Jonah Colbert currently second quickest on the track as his paint job is not showing up. Dylan Bates third. Then we see Chris McLean back and forth, and Eric Tracy, your top five. Of course, your playoff drivers will be highlighted in red, except for Eddie Smith, who will be highlighted in yellow, although I don't see Eddie out on the racetrack as of yet. Of course, we want to thank, this weekend is dedicated to all of our veterans, both active and retired. We want to thank everybody for your service, all the men and women who keep this country safe and allow us to live our best lives in freedom. So we do want to thank you, the veterans. That will be rotating on the top right of the screen all night long. Of course, we want to thank you for joining us here tonight, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or Twitch. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. Hit that little notification bell. So, you know, anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. Tracy Passion's currently sixth fastest, one of our playoff drivers. Fortunately, he's one of the drivers in a must-win situation. Let's take a look at the points coming into tonight. Eddie Smith locked in with the win last week at Homestead. Jonah Colbert sits back in second. Daniel Cunningham, Cody Boehm, I'm going to put both of them on the bubble. In fact, you can even put Jonah on the bubble, as he is only 5 points ahead of fourth. Brandon Wallace back in fifth, within 10 points of second place. Mickey Isaac, Christopher Heiner, and Chris McLean. Again, McLean, I take it back. Tracy Passions is not in the playoffs. He's still got the little P next to his name, but he is not one of our playoff drivers. But you can see the drivers like Chris McLean, Christopher Heiner, Mickey Isaac. These guys are in must-win situations to get themselves into the Final Four at Atlanta. And that's what we're going to be watching for tonight. Can somebody sneak out a win here tonight and lock themselves in to the Final Four? Drivers like Chris McLean here, one of our playoff drivers, sits back and forth, missed last week. So he's in a little bit of a hole. He's got to dig himself out. We'll see what he can do. As we'll put the tower back up there so you can see where all of our drivers. Chris McLean, again, one of our drivers having to... Well, Eddie Smith just joined the server, so he, again, could steal the win here tonight and keep one of our drivers from moving to the round of four. Chris Heiner, currently 14th fastest, another driver in a must-win situation, along with Mickey Isaac. So we'll see these drivers here tonight battling it out, trying to get themselves in the position to lock themselves in to the round of four, as we are just about ready to get qualifying underway. Of course, before we get qualifying underway, we do want to thank our great partners out there, including Race EPI, for all your setups and coaching needs. Visit raceepi.com. Of course, we also want to mention intensityracing.com for all your hats, t-shirts, coffee mugs, not just of Intensity Broadcasting, but we have some novelty t-shirts, as well as our league t-shirts and Atliatman Weiss's merchandise as well. And you can find all that at intensityracing.com. And of course, our great partner over at Butt Kicker. Of course, Butt Kicker is an established and trusted leader in gaming haptics. The award-winning line of Butt Kicker products lets users feel ultra-low frequency sounds. Their products are used and endorsed around the world by leading PC and console gamers, including professional sim racers. The patented design makes them incredibly accurate, powerful, and virtually indestructible. The Gamer Plus is the new and upgraded haptic that reproduces immersive, accurate, and powerful sim racing, flight sim, and gaming effects. To check out the full line of Butt Kicker products and figure out which one's right for you, visit thebuttkicker.com. So we have trucks getting their way out on track right now. Let's see. Daniel Cunningham is one of the first drivers to take the green flag. Run that high line through turns 3 and 4 down to the stripe to take the white flag. He's going to jump right up to the top of the board immediately as the only driver to take a time. Jonah Cobert goes P1. There goes Cody Bohm going P1, and Mike Veith currently in the 4th position. Daniel Pope, another driver who was real fast last week, just making his way out onto the track as well, just took the green flag. So watch for him to be fast as well as Chris Heiner jumps up to P2. Daniel Cunningham comes across the stripe. He'll jump up to the provisional pole. Jonah Cobert is going to take over that position from him, the first driver to crack down into the 30 bracket. Daniel Pope comes across the line on his first lap. He's going to jump up into the 8th position. We'll see if he's able to knock Jonah Cobert off of the pole here as he makes his way through turns 1 and 2 for the final time in qualifying. Paul Paston says he's watching on Facebook. We do appreciate you tuning in, Paul. Pope down to the white line through turns 3 and 4. Down across the pipe, and Daniel Pope is going to jump up into the 2nd position with a 31.06. So just a little bit behind Jonah Cobert. Dylan Bates comes across the line. He's going to jump up into the 9th position. Let's see what he's able to do here on his 2nd lap. Brandon Wallace currently in the 10th position. We'll see what Dylan Bates can do here. Coming through turns 3 and 4. Down across the line, and the 09 will put themselves up into the 4th position. See Brandon Bubba Wallace coming off of turn number 4 down to the stripe. And Wallace is going to go slower on his 2nd lap, and he's going to stay in the 13th position. Playoff driver Chris McLean just took the green flag, coming down through turns 3 and 4. McLean goes 15th fastest on his first lap. Aaron Adcock just went 15th on his lap there, knocked McLean back into 16th. See what McLean can do here as he makes his way through turns 3 and 4. Down across the stripe. And McLean is going to go P2. Aaron Adcock across the line. He's going to move up into 10th, but how about McLean with a 31.03, moving himself up into the 2nd spot. Kyle Roberts goes P8. Spencer Gay coming down the backstretch on his white flag lap. Down across the stripe. And Spencer Gay is going to go a little bit faster on his 2nd lap, but currently in the 18th position. Mickey Isaac sitting down on the end of pit road. One of our playoff drivers in a must-win situation. He rolls off onto the racetrack. Jason Lottridge, Matt Kleeman, Alex Veith, and Eddie Smith also left to qualify. Isaac down into turns 1 and 2 for the first time on his green flag lap. Isaac's going to come take the white flag. See where he goes on his first lap. He's going to jump up in the 18th position. Alex Veith goes 21st. And down across the line. And Mickey Isaac is going to move up into 17th. Alex Veith is going to come across the line. Go P18. We have about 3 minutes left and 3 drivers left to qualify. Again, we want to thank everybody, whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch. We do appreciate you joining us here tonight. So we get ready for 100 laps around Kansas Speedway. Again, 3 drivers left to qualify. Not quite sure if they are going to make their way out onto the racetrack. Just saw a great race. If you didn't catch the first race, go back and watch that. A great barn burner between Corey Hines and Mike Kosick. Of course, Kosick is in a must-win situation to lock himself into the Final Four, so you definitely want to check that out. If you missed that one, go back and watch it as we get ready to go racing here in about a minute and a half. Of course, don't forget to watch us the rest of the week as well, as we have playoff implications in many of our leagues. Tuesday night Doghouse League, part of our Tuesday night truck doubleheader. Not quite into the playoffs yet, but they're fast approaching. As this week, they'll be marching into Nashville Super Speedway. On Tuesday night, the SCSRA Truck Series, they'll be rolling on as well, as they have just 2 races left in their season. Trucks will be taking on Auto Club Speedway. And then the Xfinity Series on Wednesday night, taking on Talladega Super Speedway. Thursday night, we've got the Thunderstruck Series. Try to see if I have dates for that. Yep, this week the Thunderstruck Series will be taking off at Five Flag Speedway on Thursday night. Friday night, we've got the Original Rebels Grand National Series. Their playoffs are getting ready to come to a close. And next week, they will be at Darlington Speedway for their final race before the championship. Well, qualifying's done. Let's take a look at the starting grid. Whoop, I have the wrong stuff on the screen. I apologize for that. Let's get the right one up there. And the Peg Leg Pole Award will go to the 31 of Jonah Cobert. Chris McLean will start from the outside of row 1. Row 2 will be Daniel Pope and Tracy Passons, with Dylan Bates and Daniel Cunningham back in the 3rd row. Row 4 will be the 68 of Eric Tracy, with Kyle Roberts starting to his outside, and rounding out the top 10 will be Charles Stevens Jr. and Cody Bohm. Aaron Adcock rolls off from the 11th position, with Del Mears in the 12th spot. 13th will be Josh Oswald, with Tyler Rice in the 14th spot. Row 8, Chris Heiner in a must-win situation with Mike Veith to his outside in the 16th position. Then Mickey Isaac and Alex Veith back in row number 9. Rounding out your top 20 will be the 12 of William Griffith and Spencer Gay. Brandon Bubba Wallace will roll off from 21st with Eddie Smith in 22nd. Jason Lottridge and Matt Kleeman will round out the rest of the field here tonight at Kansas. So Jonah Cobert's going to lead them down to the starting zone. Pace truck down onto pit road. Jonah Cobert, Chris McLean. Green flags in the air. We are racing here at Kansas, and Cobert gets a great jump on the start. Daniel Pope right there behind. Pope battling with McLean for that second position as they go down in turn 1 for the first time. And we see Dylan Bates now looking underneath McLean as they come off of turn number 2 down the backstretch for the first time. McLean stuck up on that high side, seeing that low lane be the dominant lane early in the Outlaw Series. We'll see if that low lane prevails here in the Truck Series as well. Lane, though, trying to fight back now on that high side as they got a little bit of temperature now in the tires after a lap. He's looking to the outside of Daniel Pope, trying to take over that second position again. Right behind, we see Dylan Bates trying to use the draft of Pope to keep right there with him as Pope is running down the 31 of Jonah Cobert at the same time. Cobert down to the bottom, throws a bit of a block on the 16 of Pope as they come across the stripe. But Pope is going to try to get the position underneath Jonah as they go into turn number 1, but Jonah able to keep out in front of that 16 machine. Now McLean using that high side. He's going to roll around the 16 of Pope, so move McLean back up into the second position. He's going to set his sights on Jonah Cobert. A little further back, we see a little battle back here. We see Kyle Roberts and Charles Stevens Jr. And now we got 3 wide as Cody Bohm's up on the high side, or in the middle there between Kyle Roberts and Aaron Adcock. Oh, contact, Bohm. And Adcock makes some contact. They are still 3 wide. Kyle Roberts wisely pulls out of that one as Adcock and Bohm continue to battle side by side. And as that's going on, we've got a battle shaping up for the lead here as Cody Bohm now makes his way around Charles Stevens Jr. Aaron Adcock's going to try to follow through as well. Tracy Passons right there has the 68 of Eric Tracy right there on the back bumper as Jonah Cobert takes the defensive line down into turn number 1. A little further back, we still have some great racing back here. See Kyle Roberts, Chris Heiner, Josh Oswald, Aaron Adcock, Charles Stevens Jr., a bunch of drivers, Mickey Isaac in this mix, along with, looks like Spencer Gay. Sorry, that's Tyler Rice. And William Griffith back here as well. So a bunch of drivers right here, all under a blanket as they go down into turns 1 and 2 and down the backstretch. Daniel Pope now has Dylan Bates right there on the back bumper as Pope, who started in 3rd, still runs in that 3rd position. Right behind him, we see Daniel Cunningham moving down and around the 68 of Eric Tracy. Move him up into the 6th position as Tracy now fighting back on the high side. And just in front of that, we see Dylan Bates and Daniel Pope side by side as they come through turns 1 and 2. And Tracy Passons coming into the mix here as well. Now Passons looking down underneath Bates. Got tucked back in line. As our top 8 continue to run single file now. Well, further back, Charles Stevens Jr. now has the 1 of Chris Heiner right there on the back bumper. Heiner, another one of our playoff drivers, trying to win and get himself into the final 3 weeks, excuse me. Only 2 more opportunities to win into the Final Four. That's tonight and next week. Then we take a week off for Thanksgiving. We'll be here on December 4th for the final race of the season. Tyler Rice now looking underneath Charles Stevens Jr. Struggling since the drop of the green flag. Lost 2 spots and continue to fight drivers off on the low side. We see Nicky Isaac right here in the mix as well, as he's looking down underneath William Griffith. Alex Veith right there. Aaron Adcock has fallen back 3 spots, currently back in the 13th position. As Josh Oswald tries to make a move around Aaron Adcock. And now Oswald trying to take a move. They're trying to catch Charles Stevens Jr. to try to take over that 12th position. Up front, it's much of the same, as Chris McLean still runs about 0.2 of a second behind Jonah Cobert. Daniel Pope has Dylan Bates and Tracy Passions trying to battle it out behind. Daniel Cunningham, Eric Tracy, your top 8. And then there's a second gap back to 9th place on back. Actually, it's Cody Boehm, who's about a 0.5 second back behind Eric Tracy. And then Kyle Roberts leads the next train. He's got Chris Heiner, Tyler Rice, and Charles Stevens Jr. right behind him. Trying to use a little bit of a draft like you would see at Daytona or Talladega, trying to get themselves back up towards the front. Meanwhile, Dylan Bates and Daniel Pope still battling here, trying to decide who's going to take over that 3rd position. And Jonas had McLean right there on the back bumper. See McLean getting a pretty good run here down the backstretch. Just not able to get the move underneath of Cobert. This time down the front stretch, can McLean make the move down to the inside? He will. And Chris McLean is going to move himself up into the top spot, with Daniel Pope now trying to run down the 31 of Jonah Cobert. Cobert, though, looking back down to the inside. As these 2 drivers continue to run side by side. Door to door down. Great view here, just how close these 2 are running. As the side-by-side battle continues for the lead here. Ooh, some contact there between McLean and Jonah Cobert. Or nearly contact. I don't think there was, but nearly contact between these 2 drivers. McLean loses the run there, and that's going to allow Jonah to pull a little slide job out in front. McLean's going to take another look down to the inside. No, he's not. As down into turn number 3. Now McLean's going to take a look down to the inside. Just not able to make that move happen. We're working lap 16 of 100. Here comes McLean looking back down to the inside. But Jonah Cobert retakes the lead. A little further back, we see this battle happening between Daniel Cunningham and Tracy Passions. And we heard in the first race, it's very difficult to pass here. The draft plays such a big part of this race, as well as this track is very rough on tires. So we saw drivers pitting in the first race between 30 and 34. We'll see when these drivers decide they're going to try to make their way down pit road. A lot of drivers Making it a two-stop race, pitting on lap around 33, around 66, and running it to the end. As now Daniel Pope has gotten around Chris McLean for that second position, and we see Dylan Bates having a little connection issue as he's running side by side with Chris McLean. So looks like Pope backed off just a little bit, got his tires back to where he wanted them, and now he's working on running down Jonah Cobert, trying to take the lead back away. A little further back, we've got a battle back here. Tyler Rice makes his way around Eric Tracy. Here comes Charles Stevens Jr. also trying to work around Eric Tracy. Such a big gaggle of cars back here. We see all these drivers jockeying for position. Aaron Adcock trying to look up to the outside of Mickey Isaac as they come down the backstretch. Great views here from the iRacing blimp. As up front, a little bit of issues there. Looks like Dylan Bates might have had an issue there. Checked up a couple drivers. Tracy Passons now moves up into third. Chris McLean's going to fall all the way back to 7th. Cody Bone was able to get around as well. So battles all over the track as Aaron Adcock trying to work his way around the 68 of Eric Tracy. Brandon Wallace in that 99. Back in the 18th position, he's got Alex Ethan. Oh, Aaron Adcock up into the wall. Loses a ton of positions here. We'll see what happened to Adcock. Adcock trying to work around the high side, just barely gets up into the wall, and that slows that 21 or 23 machine down. And unfortunately for him, finds himself back in the 21st position as Jonah Cobert and Daniel Pope start to pull away. Dylan Bates trying to run down the 53 of Tracy Passons. As Cody Bohm and Chris McLean battle it out. McLean comes back into the 6th position. Now Passons still trying to hold off that 09 as Bates looks down to the inside. And Dylan Bates is going to retake that 4th position. And they've put a second lead over 3rd place, Daniel Cunningham. We're about 10 laps away from some drivers making their way down on the pit road. Aaron Adcock, after getting back into the wall, trying to work his way back towards the front, battling here with William Griffith. It's a battle for the 19th position. Tracy Passons and Dylan Bates continue to battle it out for this 4th position. Now Bates is going to look down to the inside. Almost some contact between those two drivers. Passon's able to pull back out in front. As the battle for the lead is starting to dissipate a little bit as Jonah Kober started to pull away from Daniel Pope. And there's our first driver down on the pit road, and that is the 12 of William Griffith. Further back, we've got more battles going on here as Chris McLean is running down the 53 and the 9. This Paston's going to look down to the inside. Bates up on the high side. Here comes McLean looking down on the bottom. He's going to try to take over that 5th position. They're side by side across the line on lap number 29. As again, we are just a couple laps, a handful of laps away from green flag pit stops. Josh Oswald trying to work around the high side of Eric Tracy. Mickey Isaac right here as well, and Spencer Gay. So it's a battle that's going on for 13th, 14th, and 15th. As Passions has Dylan Bates looking back to the outside. And Daniel Pope has run down Jonah Kober yet again. And looks like Brandon Wallace doing the opposite of what he did in the first race, coming down pit road here on lap 31, coming to get service done. So that's our first driver to make their way down on the pit road. Except for William Griffith, also just came down pit road. He's back on track in the 24th position. We'll see who else makes their way down pit road in the next couple laps. Pope, though, still right there on the back bumper, stalking Jonah Kober. Matt Kleeman now makes his way down on the pit road as well. Chris McLean looking up to the high side, trying to get around teammate Tracy Passons. And here comes our leaders, Jonah Kober on the pit road, Daniel Cunningham on the pit road. That's going to give the lead to the 16 of Daniel Pope. As Passons is going to let his teammate by, that's going to move McLean up into the 2nd position. Mike Veith makes his way down onto pit road as well. It looks like Josh Oswald might be coming down to pit road. Yes, he is. We see the 69 of Spencer Gay also making their way. Look at this. All these trucks making their way on the pit road. Charles Stevens Jr., Mickey Isaac, Eric Tracy, Jason Lottridge on pit road. Tracy Passions leads the group. Cody Bohm, Chris Heiner. So bunch of drivers making their way down onto pit road on lap 34. Daniel Pope and Dylan Bates continue to stay out front. Chris McLean also back here in the 3rd position. Now McLean and Kyle Roberts and Tyler Rice down on pit road as well. Alex Veith on the pit road. See the 112 of Del Mears. I believe he's going to be coming down pit road here. No, he's going to stay out at least another lap. Here comes Daniel Pope slowing down to come down on the pit road. Dylan Bates is going to stay out now and continue to run. He's going to lead a lap here. And we see Aaron Adcock staying out on track as well. So only 3 drivers on the lead lap currently. Dylan Bates, Aaron Adcock, and Del Mears. We'll see when Bates decides to make his way down onto pit road. Looks like this is the lap for Bates. So we'll see Aaron Adcock take over the lead unless he comes down on the pit road this time. Looks like he's going to stay out at least one more lap. And Del Mears also going to stay out one more lap. And these drivers are not pitting because fuel is an issue. They can make it, as we saw in the first lap, to about lap 45. What the issue is tires. And you see as William Griffith just went by Aaron Adcock, how quickly he went by, just how premium those tires are. We're talking almost 2 seconds a lap quicker the fresh tires are. We'll see Aaron Adcock, he has the one running him down right now. That is, Chris Heiner is down on track. I thought I saw the one, but it was not the one. It's the 99 of Brandon Wallace, and you can see just how quickly these new tires are going to make their way around our leader. So Aaron Adcock is thinking about pitting soon because he's given up just way too much time being out on the racetrack on these older tires. When all cycles around, it's going to be Jonah Colbert, who's got his teammate Eddie Smith right there on the back bumper. Smith is a lap down. Now Aaron Adcock makes his way down on the pit road. That's going to give the lead to the 112 of Del Mears. So Mears is going to come across the line. He's going to lead a lap. See a battle right here between Kyle Roberts and Brandon Wallace. Roberts up to the high side, Wallace on the low side. As they come down the backstretch, Roberts going to be able to use that high lane momentum to get around the 99. Plus a little bit fresher tires. Makes me wonder when Del Mears is going to come down pit road because he has got Jonah Colbert 3 seconds behind and closing in fast. Last time by, it was about 2.5 seconds faster. As we see Colbert and Eddie Smith drafting together to try to run down Del Mears and stay out in front of Daniel Pope, who's currently back. Actually, it's Daniel Cunningham who's in 3rd place right now. 2nd place when the all cycles around. And because Jonah and Eddie are drafting, they are pulling away from Daniel Cunningham pretty quickly. Last time by, it was about 0.3 quicker for Jonah and Eddie as they are running down the 112 of Mears. As Colbert makes his way right around to take over the lead. You see Daniel Pope trying to work around Daniel Cunningham. This is a battle for what will be second place when Mears comes down on the pit road. Another battle back here as we see this gaggle of trucks. Tracy Patchins trying to make his way around Chris McLean. Cody Boehm right behind, battling with the one of Christopher Heiner, who is a couple laps down. So battles all over the track. Ooh, almost some contact there between Boehm and McLean. That's going to put a little battle here between Boehm and Christopher Heiner. Again, Heiner is currently being scored 4 laps down. Sorry, 3 laps down according to the scoring there. Mike Veith also 3 laps down. This battle starts to settle down. See Tyler Rice and Eric Tracy making their way around William Griffith. And Delmere is still out on track. You see just how slow he is on those old tires. And ooh, the 5 up into the wall. McLean catches the wall. He falls all the way back to 7th. As here goes Dale Mears down on the pit road. That'll cycle through the entire field. But McLean up into the wall. A lot of damage, I'm sure, to the right side of that machine as you see him come off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. See if we're able to get a shot of the right side of that truck. See how much damage he has. Just a little scrape, so it doesn't look like it's going to hurt him too much. It's Matt Kleeman battling here with Tyler Rice. And this is a battle here for 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. Josh Oswald is up in this mix as well. Another battle back here. Dylan Bates. Oh, makes contact with Cody Boehm. Big save for those two drivers. Take another look and see what happened here between these two drivers. See Heiner, they go 3 wide. Bates up on the high side. And Heiner got a little bit loose, comes up the track. So it's Heiner that made contact with Dylan Bates. Cody Boehm had to take evasive moves there. And the yellow flag is out. While we were looking to see what happened to Cody Boehm, the yellow flag comes out. That's going to bring up our first Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind as we take a look to see what brought this caution out. Well, it looks like it was brought out by the 12 of William Griffith. As Griff looks like he struggles here off of turn 2. Almost catches the wall. He's trying to hold on to it almost down the entire backstretch and then just absolutely loses it. Gets behind on the steering and catches the wall hard. Let's see him ride along here with Griff and see just how hard he's working the wheel inside here. And you can see he's trying to hold on to it, trying to work the wheel, and just gets behind on the steering a little bit. Hard into the outside wall. Well, that's going to bring everybody down pit road for tires and fuel. Guy Shappett says Aaron banking on that caution, and there it is. That was the caution that he needed. As Jonah Colbert, Daniel Pope, Daniel Cunningham make it off pit road 1, 2, 3. Cody Bowman, Tracy Passions, Chris McLean, Kyle Roberts, Mickey Isaac, Bubba Wallace, and Eddie Smith stays out on track to try to get back into this race. So with the caution coming out here, we know the drivers can make it to the end on fuel. It's just a matter, can these drivers make it to the end with tires? Not that they're going to blow a tire by the end of the race. That's not the case, but the trucks will be handling so poorly. Does anybody come down pit road? Because we've seen that pitting here is almost 2 seconds a lap faster after about 25 laps. So we'll see. We might see a group of drivers making their way down pit road around lap 75. But right now, we're getting ready to go back green flag racing in just a few moments. Bunch of drivers out in front of the pace truck. In front of the leader here, trying to get themselves back onto the tail end of the lead lap. So we see Jonah there. We see William Griffith, Mike Veith, Christopher Heiner, and Del Mears all in front of Jonah Colbert. So when the lights go off on the pace truck, those drivers will be able to wave around and get themselves back onto the back half of the field. And there they go. Of course, while we've got a moment, we want to thank all of our great partners here that make this league possible. Holl Heating and Sheet Metal is the title sponsor. Kinder Farm and Ranch for the Wreckage Rewind. Cofield Asphalt Refinishing, Chuck Peg Leg Felts. Thunderstruck Super Series. And of course, we want to thank everybody watching at home as well. As we're just past halfway, and this race is about to get exciting for sure. Of course, we also want to thank our great partners of ours, RaceEPI.com for setups and coaching. Check out RaceEPI.com. The Butt Kicker for all your gaming haptic needs. And of course, IntensityRacing.com for all your Intensity merchandise. Really does help us out as well. So here we go. Pace truck getting ready to take that hard left-hand turn onto pit road. Jonah Colbert's going to lead him down to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing with Jonah Colbert getting a great jump off Daniel Pope as they make their way down into turn number 1. Daniel Cunningham right there on Pope's back bumper. How about Chris McLean? That was a great caution for him after making contact with the wall able to get some repairs done. Back up into the 5th position and right back in contention. Trying to get himself a win here as he looks down underneath Cody Bohm. Trying to get himself a win to lock him into the Final Four at Atlanta. Pope loses a little bit of momentum. They're trying to be 4 wide behind. As Cody Bohm was all the way down to the grass as he's trying to work his way back around McLean down on the low side. McLean looking to the outside of Daniel Cunningham as they come off of turn number 2. With a battle for the lead heating up as well as Daniel Pope was trying to find a way around Jonah Cobert, was not able to. Here comes Cunningham back down to the low side of Chris McLean. They are side by side for 3rd place. Cody Bohm, another driver in a must-win situation here tonight. Oh, I apologize for the screen flickering right there. My Windows has a mind of its own right now as Jonah Cobert has Daniel Pope right there on the back bumper. And Kyle Roberts working around the outside of Eric Tracy for the 8th position. A little further back, we see Dylan Bates running by himself. Then Aaron Adcock, Josh Oswald side by side with Spencer Gay, Bubba Wallace, and Eddie Smith back here as well. Eddie works his way back onto the lead lap, currently running in the 15th position. Brandon Wallace takes a look down, and Daniel Pope taking the lead away from Jonah Cobert as they come down the front stretch here. And Jonah now has to deal with Chris McLean right behind as well. The only driver truly locked into the Final Four is Eddie Smith after his win last week at Homestead. He currently runs back in the 14th position. So Jonah and McLean and Daniel Cunningham all trying to lock themselves in with a win here tonight. Daniel Pope trying to play spoiler and not allow anybody to lock themselves into the Final Four. Of course, if we take a look at the points coming in, you see Eddie Smith locked in, Jonah Cobert not quite locked in. He's only a point ahead of Daniel Cunningham, and Cody Bohm is only 4 points back. So really, I would say anybody from second on back is mathematically still in this. Chris McLean, Christopher Heiner, Mickey Isaac, mathematically, the only thing they can do is win to get themselves into the Final Four. But Cobert, Cunningham, Bohm, they just have to have solid finishes here tonight and next week to ensure that they get themselves into the round of 4. Of course, next week we move on to Richmond, a short track, as Cunningham's trying to work his way around Tracy Passons. Passons, though, fighting back on the high side. See Dylan Bates side by side with Eric Tracy. Bates is going to take away that 8th position. As Jonah Cobert is running back down the 16 of Daniel Pope. As we are quickly approaching 25 laps to go. Eric Tracy and Dylan Bates still nose to tail. These two can't get away from each other. And just behind, we see Eddie Smith now working to the outside of Josh Oswald. Eddie trying to climb himself back into the top 10 after having some issues in starting from the pits. Going to clear Josh Oswald and set his sights on Kyle Roberts. Jonah Cobert's going to retake the lead away from Daniel Pope. And Chris McLean is right there as well, as Pope is going to ride there on the back bumper. Here comes McLean to the back bumper of Pope. Our front three are now nose to tail as they come across the line. Tracy Passon's right there as well. Folks, these last 30 laps are about to be wild. Jonah Cobert now starting to put a little bit of distance between himself and Daniel Pope. McLean and Passons, though, right there on the back bumper. Of course, those two teammates over at Poman Motorsports. A little further back, we've got a gaggle of trucks here. Dylan Bates out in front of Eric Tracy. Tracy looking to the low side. Here comes Kyle Roberts and Eddie Smith. And Aaron Adcock all there on that high side trying to roll around and get themselves into the top 10. Almost some contact there between Roberts and Tracy. Oh, Roberts gets turned. Eddie Smith into the wall. No caution. Able to get back going. Eddie Smith, though, still spinning. Loops around. Now the caution is out. He catches Kyle Roberts there. That's going to bring up our second Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind tonight. We rewind this one back. We see Kyle Roberts up on the high side. Eddie Smith getting the run. Roberts, you see that wheel cranked. He is loose off of turn number 2. Comes down into the 68 of Tracy. Comes back across the track right in front of Eddie Smith. Those two are going to make contact right here. Aaron Adcock able to take evasive action. Both drivers trying to regain control. Eddie's still trying to regain control. You see, he's still fighting that wheel. That truck is sliding. He comes back onto the apron. Loops it right around. Lets it roll because he's trying not to roll back up across the track. But then Kyle Roberts and him make contact, and Roberts is able to continue. But a tough break as we take one more look at this here. And right here from the roll bar, and you can see Eddie Smith really fighting this truck. We see Kyle Roberts just come off the corner, loses it. Eddie has nowhere to go. And once the contact happens, you see Eddie really trying to fight that truck. He's got that wheel cranked all the way to the right. Downshifts and just loses it. So unfortunate for Eddie Smith. Now finds himself back in the 17th position. Teammate, though, Jonah Cobert, finds himself out in the lead. And right when I thought people may have decided to come down pit road and gamble, the caution comes out, so everybody is going to be everybody's going to take fresh tires here, and try to battle it out to the end. So as they came off of pit road, we'll go through the running order right now. Jonah Cobert's going to restart in first. Daniel Pope back in the second position. Chris McLean is going to roll off from third. Tracy Passion's restarting in fourth, and Daniel Cunningham make up your top five. Cody Boehm back in the sixth position. Dylan Bates in seventh. Playoff driver Mickey Isaac back in eighth. Brandon Bubba Wallace back in ninth. And Aaron Adcock makes up your top 10. Josh Oswald back in 11th. Spencer Gay into the 12th position. Charles Stevens Jr. back in 13th. Alex Veith in 14th. And Matt Kleeman in the 15th position. Tyler Rice in 16th. Eddie Smith, as we just mentioned after that incident, back in 17th. Eric Tracy in 18th. Kyle Roberts back in 19th. And Jason Lottridge round out your top 20. William Griffith is on the lead lap, back in 21st. Del Mears in 22nd. Chris Heiner, a few laps down, back in 23rd. He is going to be in a must-win situation next week at Richmond, And then Mike Veith rounds out the field back in the 24th position. As the lights on the pace truck are off, we're going to re-rack them, restack them, and get ready to refire them here at Kansas Speedway. So here we go. We're re-racked, restacked, getting ready to refire. Jonah Colbert down on the inside. Daniel Pope on the outside. Pace truck makes that hard left-hand turn onto pit road. Green flag is back in the air. We are back racing here at Kansas with 25 laps to go. Jonah Colbert with another great jump. So they make their way down into turns 1 and 2. Chris McLean fighting down on the onside of Pope, and we've got a caution out on the track. It looks like it might have been for Mike Veith. We're going to go ahead and throw up a Kinder Farm and Ranch Wreckage Rewind, see if we can figure out what happened here on this start. And yeah, it looks like it was Mike Veith here on the restart. Fortunately, it looks like Mike got tagged here on the restart by the 112 of Del Mears. Sends that 9 truck right around. It will get it going again, but brings out the caution. So looks like we're going to re-rack them, restack them, and do it all over again. So as the field cycles around here under caution, we see the one of Chris Heiner getting one of his laps back. Looks like this time by, the lights on the pace truck should be shutting off. Nope, we got one more lap. So I do want to take this time once again, as you saw in the top right-hand corner of the screen. We do have the salute to the veterans up there as the lights on the pace truck are all now off. We do want to thank all past and current members of the armed service. Do thank you for your service and the sacrifices you make or have made. Of course, we want to wish everybody a happy Veterans Day and appreciate everything that you do to keep this land, the land of the free, in the home of the brave. But we're getting ready to settle this one here at Kansas. Again, Jonah Cobert's going to lead them back down to the Geico restart zone. Chris McLean up on the high side, hoping to get a good jump here, try to get himself a win and win his way into the round championship round of 4. Green flags back in the air. Another great jump for Jonah. Here comes Daniel Pope looking down to the inside of McLean as they make their way down into turns 1 and 2. Now Pope up into that second position as McLean battles side by side with Tracy Passions. Cobert throwing a bit of a block there on the low side, trying to defend. A little further back, we see Cody Bohm taking a look down underneath Daniel Cunningham. I'm sorry, that's Dylan Bates taking a look down underneath Daniel Cunningham. And now McLean working at high side, trying to get around Pope. They're 3 wide behind. Bohm now up into the 4th position. He's working around, trying to work around the outside of Tracy Passions. Falls back to 5th. Here comes McLean up on the high side. Jonah is doing everything he can to try to make that truck as wide as he can as McLean drives down into turn number 3. Daniel Pope right there behind as well. We have only 20 laps to go. Behind, we see a mess of trucks as they come across the stripe. McLean is looking for a way around the 31 of Jonah Cobert. Right behind Tracy Passions, battling side by side, trying to get around Daniel Pope. He's got the momentum up on the high side. Pope down on the bottom. We see Cody Bohm coming into the mix here as well, as Pope is going to clear Tracy Passions yet again, and that's going to open the door for Bohm to take a look to the inside. Caution is back out. Hard contact. William Griffith back into the wall. We've got trucks wrecking all over the place. Kyle Roberts involved in this one as well. Jason Lotridge, Aaron Adcock spun around as well. That is going to bring out another Kinder Farmer Ranch Wreckage Rewind. And this one was a big one. Looks like there might have been a couple different incidents at the same time, but we're focusing in on here on Eddie Smith, Aaron Adcock, and Alex Veith. Up in front, we see Josh Oswald and Brandon Wallace. And, Adcock got loose, comes down into Veith, comes back up into Eddie Smith. They make hard contact. Veith gets turned around. Charles Stevens Jr., nowheres to go. Spencer Gay gets a little piece of it as well. I see everybody scattering here as they make their way down into turn number 3. Kleeman was on the apron. He pushes back up the track into Aaron Adcock. And that's when all heck breaks loose. So a tough break as we see a lot of drivers caught up in this one. It's So right along with William Griffith. He's already hit at this point. Let's see if we can rewind it just a little bit further. And you see just how it happens up in front of Griff. Hit the wrong button on my end. I apologize. Try to get the roof cam here to get a good view of just how fast this happens in front of Griff. Tries to get down to the low side to avoid everything, and you see Kleeman come up and Griff standing on the throttle trying to keep the truck from coming back up the track, but unfortunately a lot of drivers caught up in that one. Aaron Adcock, William Griffith on pit road, Jason Lottridge on pit road, Chris Heiner got the lucky dog. He's on pit road getting some tires. Looks like Eddie Smith may have got, nope, he looks like he still has a little bit of damage to the left side of that truck, which he does. Del Mears on pit road. So Jason Lottridge, Aaron Adcock, Kyle Roberts, Del Mears, Charles Stevens Jr. damage to his truck as well. You see him making his way down to his pit stall. One driver with no damage, though, is the 31 of Jonah Colbert as he continues to lead. Currently over Chris McLean. McLean's going to have to restart, though, on the high side. And we've seen all night long that 5 truck not able to fire off as well on the high side as he is on the low side. So here we go. Lights are back off on the pace truck. We take the green flag. We'll have just 15 laps to go. Jonah Colbert, Chris McLean, Cody Bohm, Mickey Isaac back in the 8th position. He's got a chance to steal one and lock himself into the final 4. Daniel Cunningham back here as well. Look at the top of the screen. You see all those drivers highlighted in red. Brandon Wallace back in 10th. Could he find a way to lock himself into the final 4? Field working their way through turns 3 and 4 as we get ready to fire them back up here at Kansas. Pace truck hits pit road. Colbert leads him down to the Geico restart zone. Green flag is back in the air. A little bit of wheel spin behind. See Mickey Isaac using the advantage. He's going to take it 3 wide. Try to move himself forward as Daniel Pope able to get around McLean yet again. McLean's going to fall all the way back into the 4th position. There goes Cody Bohm by. Bohm's going to jump up to the high side. McLean's going to dive down to the bottom. Here comes Cunningham up to the high side as well as McLean makes his way down into turns 3 and 4 down on the low side. How about the run that Cody Bohm's got through turns 3 and 4 down across the stripe. 13 laps to go. Can Cody Bohm find a way to lock himself into the final 4? How about Chris McLean? He's in a must-win situation. He's got to win this week or next week. Wants to get it done here tonight, though, so he doesn't have to think about it next week. Here comes Bohm looking down underneath the 16 of Pope. While all that balance is going on, it's allowing Jonah Colbert to stay right out in front. Cunningham now down to the inside of Chris McLean. McLean has a little connection issue. There he is. He's gone again. Not the time that Chris McLean wants to have a connection issue. Now he finds himself moving around Cody Bohm. So move McLean up into the 3rd position. And now he's going to set his sights on the 16 of Daniel Pope. Top three drivers run three completely different lines off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch. Who's going to try to get the advantage here as McLean continues to work that high lane, trying to keep his momentum up to try to run down the 16 of Daniel Pope. 10 laps to go as they come across the line. McLean looking up to the high side of Daniel Pope. Off of turn number 2, can McLean keep the momentum up on that high side? Jonah Cobert ducking high, ducking low, trying to find a way to keep those two drivers in front of him, or behind him, excuse me, as McLean has some more connection issues right here. As he works to the outside of Daniel Pope. Cody Boehm able to run the preferred line low in the corner, high on corner exit, where Pope is tucked down underneath, as he's got Chris McLean up on the high side across the line. Just 8 laps to go. Jonah able to hold these drivers off as they continue to battle side by side. Oh, some contact. McLean up into the wall. Able to straighten it out, but that's going to end his chances of clinching here tonight at Kansas. Now Jonah Cobert has a fast Daniel Pope behind him. Pope doesn't have to deal with that 5 machine anymore. Jonah's going to be doing a lot of mirror driving with just 7 laps to go. Coming across the line, just 6 laps to go. A little further back, Mickey Isaac trying to work down to the inside of Eric Tracy. Trying to get another important point here so that he can try to move himself into that final 4. Back up front, Daniel Pope trying to run down Jonah Cobert. He's got Cody Boehm right behind in that 3rd position, also trying to lock themselves in to the final 4. 5 laps to go here at Kansas. Daniel Pope has caught Jonah Cobert. He's within 1/10 of a second. It's one thing to catch him, it's another thing to get by him. I say it week after week, and we've seen just how difficult it is to pass here. So what can Pope do to try to run down Jonah and get around him to take the win away and deny Jonah Cobert of an automatic entry into the round of 4? Pope pushes off the corner a little bit. That allows Cody Boehm to get the run down into turn number 3, and Boehm trying to take over that 2nd position. And he's going to do it. He's going to get around. And now Cody Boehm up into the 2nd position with just 3 laps to go. Does he have enough time to run down Jonah Cobert and lock himself into the final 4? Behind, Daniel Cunningham trying to move himself up into the podium spot. Down to the inside of Daniel Pope they go. Jonah Cobert coming across the line. We have just 2 laps to go here at Kansas Speedway. Remember, if the white flag comes out, the yellow flag will be put away. But if the yellow flag comes out first, we will have ourselves a green-white checker. As Daniel Pope and Daniel Cunningham fight side by side for that final podium spot. Jonah Cobert through turns 3 and 4. comes down to the straight. White flag is in the air. 1 lap to go. Pope is able to get back out in front of Daniel Cunningham. Spencer Gay back in the 5th position. He's trying to make his presence known here as well. Off of turn number 2 for the final time. Pope out in front as Jonah Colbert makes his way through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Off of turn number 4, and Jonah Colbert is going to punch his ticket to Atlanta. Cody Bohm comes home in 2nd. Daniel Pope brings it home 3rd. Daniel Cunningham back in 4th. And Spencer Gay with a fantastic 5th place finish. But tonight is all about the 31 of Jonah Colbert, a regular season champion. Finds a way to lock himself into the Final Four at Atlanta as he gets a little congratulatory tap there from the 78 of Cody Bohm. And Jonah's going to make his way down towards the start-finish line where he's going to celebrate his win here tonight before the traditional Original Rebels Racing League post-race demolition derby. Let's take a look at the full results. As Jonah Colbert gets the win, Cody Bohm comes home 2nd, Daniel Pope, Daniel Cunningham, Spencer Gay round out your top 5. Eric Tracy brings it home in 6th, Mickey Isaac back in 7th, Josh Oswald comes home 8th, Bubba Wallace back in 9th, and Tracy Passions in the 10th spot. Del Mir is back in 11th, Alex Veith comes home 12th, Matt Kleeman, Charles Stevens Jr., Chris McLean round out your top 15. Chris Heiner comes home 16th, Mike Veith in 17th, Dylan Bates in the 18th position. 19th was Tyler Rice, and Eddie Smith, who's already locked into the Final Four, comes home in 20th. Aaron Adcock in 21st, Kyle Roberts 22nd, Jason Lottridge and William Griffith round out the rest of the field here tonight at Kansas as we get ready to talk to our top 3, starting with your 3rd place finisher, Daniel Pope. Daniel, got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
I got you, man.
Man, another fast night for you tonight, coming home P3. Looked like you might have had something for Jonah there towards the end, but ended up slipping up a little bit there and getting passed by Cody Bohm and just not able to recover. Looked like the truck just got tight on you. Were you fighting a tight truck there towards the end, or what happened there?
Yeah, it got pretty tight after the 5 truck was blinking a little bit. I think he was having some connection issues. And we got down into 1, and he kind of flickered a little bit and net coated against my right rear. And as soon as that happened, the truck tightened up. And these things are super sensitive to aero, and I think it may have affected the truck a little bit. And then I was just pushing really, really hard to try to get to him, even with the truck a little bit hurt. And I just pushed too hard and went past the ability of the right front tire. And at that point, I made a mistake. So no point doing anything silly. Just settled in for P3.
Great points night here tonight. Unfortunately, I know you're not a late addition, so not here in the playoffs, but thought you were going to deny somebody a chance to lock themselves into Atlanta because you're showing so much speed. Next week, though, we move on to Richmond, a short track, nice and flat. How do you like your chances at Richmond next week?
Well, I am a short track driver, so hopefully I run well there. Richmond hasn't historically been one of my better short tracks, but I still typically run pretty well there, so we'll see what happens. And yeah, as far as the night goes, I wasn't going to do anything to try to mess up somebody's ability to move on. And the 31 truck and the 78 truck, they're both in the playoffs, and they both raced me with ultimate respect, so I wanted to pay that back. And even if I'd have got a run at the 31, I probably wouldn't have really pushed it too hard to try to make anything happen.
Yeah, we know Chris McLean in that 5 truck, he was trying to lock himself. He's a must-win situation, so he was making some desperate moves out there. But congratulations on P3. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank, any shots you got to give here tonight?
Just what I do every week. Thank you guys for letting me come in late, putting trust in me not to mess up your playoffs, and then all my guys over at SPM and 16XC iRacing.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats on the podium, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thanks, man.
That's your third place finisher, Daniel Pope. Let's bring in your second place finisher, the 78 of Cody Bohm. Cody, you
Chris.
got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, man, how's it going?
Didn't mean to cut you off mid sentence there with the other boys, but great job tonight coming on P2. I know you're really trying to get that win to lock yourself into Atlanta, but a P2 finish isn't half bad either.
Yeah, no, for sure. And been looking for that win for since I've been in the series, but it would have been better than ever right now. But yeah, listen, P2 is just about everything I could ask for out of Kansas. I hate these cookie cutter tracks, so I'll take it.
For sure, and not quite in a must-win situation, but I'm sure the win tonight would have been nice to help you move on automatically. How do you like your chances next week at Richmond?
I mean, I think I should be pretty quick at Richmond. I'm usually decent at the shorter tracks, so we'll see. I think I'm good for a top 5, but I mean, just I think as long as the guys that haven't won yet don't win, I think I should be all right. But we'll see. I mean, I know Brandon Wallace is going to give me a run for my money, and so will everybody else. But I'm just glad to have made it this far, to be honest.
Yeah, coming into the race tonight, there were still four drivers mathematically still in, or sorry, 6 drivers still mathematically in the hunt here tonight. So good luck next week at Richmond. We hope to see you run well and lock yourself in. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank? Any shout outs you got to give?
Yeah, I want to thank you up in the booth, everybody for running the league, and I want to thank Garrett Kinder for letting me on his team. Hopefully, I don't let him down in the next couple weeks.
For sure, and hopefully he can get himself back into these races as well. We miss seeing Kinder out on track, and good luck the rest of the season out.
All right, thanks, man. Hopefully, I'm talking to you next week.
And we were hoping so too. Have a great night.
You too.
So that was your second place finisher, Cody Bohm. Let's bring in your winner tonight here, Jonah Colbert. Jonah, you got Josh up in the booth. You got me?
Hey, what's going on, Josh?
Man, congratulations with the win, locking yourself into the Final Four. You and Eddie Smith, both teammates, both locked into that final race. That feels pretty good, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's nice to, lock yourself in before a short track. So going to next week, don't really have to worry about much. Just get out there and see if we can't help our teammate Daniel pick up a win.
For sure, and it being an important win for you as well as coming into tonight, there was 6 drivers still mathematically in the hunt for that final 2 spot or final 3 spots there, but you took yours away here tonight, and had a great battle there at the end with Daniel Pope. He was showing some speed, and those cautions there at the end didn't do you any favors either.
Yeah, those cautions, it was kind of, I don't know. Part of me was enjoying them, and part of me didn't. Like, I kind of wanted it to go green and have the long run because the lead truck with clean air will always have the best tires, just because that's the product of these bodies and the aerodynamics. So I kind of wanted a long green flag run just so I could build the lead up. But then at the same time, once the caution came out, I was like, well, let's keep throwing them. I mean, that's fine with me because I'll take those restarts all day long. And it just, like I said, having that clean air helped. But no, it was a lot of fun racing Daniel Pope there. He's a hell of a driver, and he holds his line, and we were able to get up there and rub fenders a few times. So he keeps it clean and respectful, and it was a lot of fun racing him.
For sure, it's a lot of fun watching up here too, and the relief off your chest from not having to lock yourself in next week at Richmond, being a short track. I know you like the short tracks, but being in a must-win situation at a short track is never a fun feeling.
No, I love Richmond. It's fun. Like you said, it's a fun track. We had a good race there on Friday, so looking forward to going back. But short tracks sometimes they can be like super speedways, and you never know what's going to happen. You might get a green flag race where you don't have a single caution, and you might have 30 cautions and get taken out or something by a random spinner or something. You never know. It's yeah, having that stress off your chest. It's nice. Just kind of take a week off and prepare for the final. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it looked like Eddie had a bit of a week off tonight here too, so good to see you perform. Good to see you perform here tonight, get the win, and before I let you go, anyone you want to thank, any shots you got to give here?
I'm sorry. Yeah.
You
Shout
okay
out to
over there?
Intensity. Yeah, I got a little bit of cold. Just fighting this illness here. But yeah, shout out to Intensity Broadcasting for broadcasting these series. Shout out to my teammates Eddie Smith and Daniel Cunningham. Daniel had a good finish tonight. were trying to get him on the podium, but it didn't quite work out. Shout out to Eddie for working with me there when he went a lap down. He had a little bit of grading issues there, and that's he had to start from the pits, but he's locked in, like you said, so it didn't really matter. So he was just trying to help out. So appreciate those guys hanging out with me and all the help that they give me. So that's about it.
Awesome, man. Well, again, congrats. We look forward to seeing not just what you can do next week at Richmond, but what you can do at Atlanta in the final race of the season. So good luck for the rest of the season out.
All right, thank you.
So that is your winner here tonight, Jonah Colbert. Again, we want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight. Whether you're watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on Twitch, it really does mean a lot to us. Don't forget to hit that like button, follow, and subscribe. Hit that little notification bell so you know anytime we go live here on Intensity Broadcasting. Don't forget to join us on Tuesday night for our truck doubleheader with the Shoney's Doghouse Racing League Shoney's Truck Series, followed by the Maze Construction SCSRA Truck Series as they near the end of their season as well. Of course, don't forget to check out our great partners down below at raceepi.com, The Butt Kicker, and intensitybroadcasting.com. Again, congratulations to Jonah Colbert one last time. Thank you to all our vets, current and retired, past and present. We do appreciate what you do. And from everybody here at Intensity Broadcasting, as our boy Atlee Hatman Weiss would say, over